Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. If you've been on my channel before, else hello and welcome. I'm Steph and I am a New Zealand nail tech. I thought I would try a slightly different style of video today. So this is going to be me doing my own nails in real time, so it's sped up, but it is only a few nails. Now before I crack in, this is me showing you how badly my index finger grows down around my fingertip versus straight out. So it's something I have to correct for, and actually every couple of times I do my nails I do tend to sculpt the index finger rather than just trying to work with how it grows naturally, which I don't actually share in this video, but I could do it in the future if you guys were curious. So I'm going in with my speedy bit. I find doing my pinky finger particularly difficult when I'm working on my own hands because it's really hard to stabilize the finger, and when you're working on a longer nail, the closer you are to the free edge, you know, there's no finger underneath it, so it can be quite awkward. And then also you can kind of see I have very curved C curves, so we're working across a lot of angles. The product that's actually on the nail is not actually very thick at all, so we don't want to accidentally break through too quickly. So I'm just really taking my time, changing the position and just being careful. I think notoriously as nail techs we tend to abuse our own hands or our own nails a little bit, and I've been working on avoiding that. Also, you'll notice my nails are quite grown out. I probably left them about a week too long, and you can see on this pinky finger I've got some lifting right by where the natural smile line is. So I'm just really slowly and carefully thinning out the product to get through to that pocket lifting. This tends to happen for a lot of reasons, but on my nails it's primarily because of the way that they grow. So across the nail bed where the nail's attached to the finger, it's kind of growing straight-ish, but then as it exits the finger and detaches, then it starts growing down, and that kind of curve downwards is working away from the product all the time. So it's kind of testing the adhesion, testing the bonds. Also when we're working on kind of backfilled product, that's probably 2 or 3 sets in by the time it's getting to that point on the nail. So it's been around for a while, and so if I'm not kind of looking after my nails in a timely fashion, I get lifting. So I know if I use a hard gel for this nail length in particular, I tend to get a little bit more wear out of it. My natural nails are the classic kind of like thin nails, very flexible. So here I've got Jimmy Gel from Light Elegance, but I actually think it's not quite my favorite product. When I first started in structured overlays, I tried Jimmy Gel on my own nails and it didn't work. So I moved away from that, and I've been using hard gel for a long time. And more recently I decided to give it another go because I've worked really hard on my prep and my technique and have been getting really great results with my clients. So I thought, why not give it a go on my nails? So it's pretty cool to see that my nails actually can last reasonably well with the Jimmy Gel, but I think at the end of the day not really suited long term. So now we're going to go in and shorten and shape. I decided to not shorten with the E-file because I need to correct that growth angle. So sometimes when we shorten with the E-file, we're going to take too much length out of the center of the nail on that free edge. We actually need that because you can see I'm really filing underneath, and so the longest part still needs to be in that center of the nail. So I kind of just really take my time here and work on trying to get it to look straight when we're looking from multiple directions, which none of my nails grow straight. So it's kind of, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, tweaking each angle, and then trying to get them to appear the same length as well when they kind of grow down around my fingertip. It's a whole thing. But we get to a good point, I think. I do really like this kind of natural oval shape. My nails, I don't think can achieve a proper almond just because of the way that they grow. It just doesn't work. I could sculpt them, but we go for this quite tapered oval shape instead, and it works really well for me. So now we're going to go in with cuticle prep. So I'm starting with this diamond bit that's kind of a bit bigger. It's got a flat top. This is called the Cutie Patootie from Light Elegance. I don't know why, but when I work on my own hands, I always get confused on what direction I should be using the bit, even though I use it the same way. I start in reverse and go around one direction, and then as I swap bits, I kind of swap backwards and forwards to help ease the skin away from the nail. But yeah, you will have noticed right at the start, I start going the wrong way, and you know it's the wrong way because the e-file the bit it speeds up. You don't have much control over it. It kind of wants to escape from the nail. So it's pretty easy to notice. But yeah, so just going around the cuticle area very gently and removing mainly the built up dead tissue that's actually on the nail, but also using that flat top to ease the skin back. And yeah, now we're going to go on with itty bitty. This is a very fine tapered bit, and you can see I've changed direction now, and I'm kind of aiming for just those corners of the cuticle area. Those are the main locations that I can't really get to with that flat top. And then if there is anything at all built up in the side walls, I give it a very light run over to remove. Because my side walls are so deep, if I don't do this, flooding is almost unavoidable, and also lifting can be an issue as well. So I've gone around with the forward direction, and I've actually turned it back into reverse to get the other corner. I used to only go around and forward, but I found that I couldn't really get that right hand corner very effectively. But you can see, super quick. So once I've kind of got to that step, there's been a lot of prep done, there's not a lot of tissue left, so it's just a very, very quick process. And now this is the buffy bit, and I'm just smoothing any dead tissue that's left that's on the actual finger skin. I choose not to nip cuticles. That's what I'm comfortable with, so that's how I like to do the service. And then finally, but very importantly, we need to go in and prep the nail plate nice and thoroughly, but also very gently around where I've had lifting. I really need to make sure to blend that as well. So I'm running on a very low speed with my e-file, I think usually 3 or 4 depending on the charge level, and just really smoothing out the leftover product, mainly focusing on that. And then anytime I need to do the natural nail prep, I'm really not repeating to go over the same area more than once. So you can see tucking into the side wall and then blending in that product at the back, and then I'll go across again to prep that cuticle area. And we do need to be thorough, otherwise we'll get lifting in the cuticle area. Sometimes people reach out to me with kind of troubleshooting as to why they're seeing lifting, and the number one reason for lifting at the cuticle area is improper prep or the prep isn't thorough enough. So it is really important to spend a little bit of extra time on these steps. You might be wanting to protect the natural nail, as long as we're gentle with the bit and we're just barely touching the surface, and like I said before, we're not running over any areas too much. We should be kind of doing our job thoroughly but not over the top. The downside to under prepping is we get lifting that's going to cause damage to the nail plate. We then need to re-prep that area every time we go for a backfill, and so the benefit of doing a backfill service like Jimmy Gel is kind of lost, because every time the client comes in, that area gets prepped 2, 3, 4 times as it grows out over the nail. So doing a little bit of extra prep to avoid lifting in general means that we're going to avoid less damage in the future. And this is absolutely 100% my favorite part of the service, going through and cleansing with the Light Elegance cleanser, but on my little manicure brush to get all the dust out from all the crevices and really clean the texture of the nail and get it nice and chalky. I also go in with the Light Elegance wipe and cleanser again to really get that nail plate clean and dehydrated and prepped, ready for product application. So you can see here I'm really scrubbing the nail quite firmly. In terms of prep, we're going to go in with Air Bond. So this is an air drying bonding agent. It actually neutralizes any leftover moisture that's in the natural nail, which is pretty cool, especially for humid climates like New Zealand. And then the second bonding agent I'm going in with is tack. This is one that needs to be cured in the lamp, and it creates the most amazing sticky surface that literally everything wants to stick to. So this is like my number one prep product, and then it's just a dream team with Air Bond, and you can see I really scrub that in to the nail versus just painting it on. Now we're going in with Jimmy Gel. So I always start with a thin layer, kind of like a base coat to start. This really helps me map out where I want the gel to be, and then also if I have removed areas of lifting, it also helps me smooth out that surface even more, because when we go on with our structure, if our layer below isn't very smooth, then the structure layer doesn't want to be very smooth and contoured nicely either. And obviously that goes in the lamp for a full cure, and then we're going to go in one at a time and do the structure layer. So again, painting a thin layer on, but this time before I cure, I'm going to pick a dollop from the bottle, which should be shortly. And again, I see I'm really struggling with the angle and how to anchor my nail. And I'm going through and placing that dollop through the center of the nail and allowing it to self-level, picking up more product where I need to, but placing it down in the middle and allowing it to flow outwards. Because my nails are so curved, gravity really helps with that process. Sometimes I take the tip of the brush like I'm doing now, just connect it with the gel very slightly and drag tail to kind of spread the gel where it needs to go, especially because it's summertime. You really want to work quickly. When I'm doing my own nails, I tend to faff a little bit more, and so I need to really tip my hand upside down to keep it from flooding into the side walls. So you see, again, we're going upside down to keep it central and not too bulky on the sides. Checking the apex and the structure, just making sure everything is placed properly, but not trying to spend too much time. I think the first nail, it's just always a habit for me, for any client. I really kind of go a little OTT on the perfectionist front. It would have been done and fine to go on the lamp ages ago, but here we are, still tattooing. And there it goes in. When I'm working on this layer, I tend to flash cure, especially when I'm working on my own hand, because waiting for the full cure every single nail is just adding time to the entire process. Doing my own nails takes anywhere from 3+ hours, especially depending on if I'm doing art. So I kind of really want to limit any extra time it's going to take me because that's a really long time, and I really can't be bothered to spend that much time on my nails. So what I've actually started doing is doing this base layer, doing up to the end of the structured gel manicure, where I would be ready to put colour on top, and then cleansing it and leaving it natural on one day, and then another day when I've got time, then I'll go back in and file the surface and then go in with the art. So in this video today, I do have the full end-to-end service, but it's actually over multiple days, because sitting for 4 hours to do my nails is just not really that fun, if I'm really honest, So trying to make it work for me and not work too many extra hours and fit this in kind of between clients is a bit better. You can see again, I'm just trying to tweak the surface of that product and get it into the middle and kind of distributed really nice and evenly across the nail. So still making sure there's enough thickness down those steep side walls can be a bit of a pain, and that's why I tend to tweak a lot. And then here we go. Magically, there's an extension on the index finger, and we're going to go in and cleanse the surface of all of the nails, and then we're going to finish file then. So you need to cleanse Jimmy Gel quite thoroughly, because it does have a tackier kind of surface. So you can see I'm really scrubbing here to get all of that tacky inhibition layer away, so that I can have a nice time filing. And then pulling my amazing Shamax dust collector back. This is truly an incredible piece of equipment in my salon. It pulls all of the dust out of the air. With my old dust collector, I used to look around after I had finished and there would just be floaties everywhere. But with this one, nice and clean. Everything gets sucked straight down. However, I will say, when I'm working on my own hands, slightly less so, because my hands get in the way. Whereas when you're working with a client, you can position your hands so that the dust wants to flow straight down. But alas, we make it work. So just going in and gently kind of filing away and tweaking the contour of the nail, starting with the free edge shape, lining up the side walls, and then now you can see I'm going around the cuticle area. The very last step is to kind of join everything together with the surface filing, so going across and in front of the apex, to really get that in the right spot. So yeah, you can see me doing that now. I think this is such an interesting kind of thing to watch. A lot of now YouTube tends to be super sped up, or even just 2 times, whereas this is real time. So a filing video where it looks like it takes 30 seconds to do an entire hand, or even less, is so satisfying. But there's just this general expectation that we need to work so fast, or that's such a way to make or not make profit in terms of being slow or being fast. And I think we really just need to cut ourselves a break and take our time and perfect our skill. And over time, I find when I'm investing that time and effort and allowing myself to do what I need to do to perfect, that's really building muscle memory. It's really building visibility, I actually struggle a little bit with like envisaging what a nail should look like before it exists. It's not that I don't have a visual kind of memory or I can't imagine things in my head. I think it has a little bit to do with spatial awareness, but taking my time then allows me to slowly mold a nail and refine a nail into the shape it needs to be, rather than kind of rushing and overfiling in certain areas and then having to do an additional step of product application to retweak again. So yeah, so now we've brushed away all the dust and we're really cleaning the nail again. I think this might be the new day. So I finished filed and then I turned the camera off and then I lived my life. And then when I came back to sit down and do my nails again, I finished filed gently again and have cleansed. And it seems like I'm coming back and there's no time has passed. But I think it's been a couple of days. So I decided to do the very viral, trendy, magnetic cat eye hearts on my nails. I got the new Kenzico Magic Cat Eye collection. This is the only product that I ever buy that isn't Light Elegance, because they don't make cat eye products. So yeah, but these are just so cool, and a lot of my clients really love kind of the more effect gels and the trendy techniques like this. So I thought that I would kind of give it a whirl on my own hands as well and get the technique down. So I've applied a base coat and cured that, and now I'm going in with the cat eye gel. I've laid a base layer down first, but you do actually need to apply the cat eye gels a little bit thicker to ensure that there's enough of the magnetic pigment on the nail. So I went back and forth quite a few times with this nail before I was happy with the distribution of the gel and of the pigment, and cut a whole bunch out. And then I think now we're ready to do the magnet. So this is the way that works best for me. So I bring it in on one side and then on the other side to kind of spread it out, and then at the tip, and I tilt it up. So I come in flat, kind of slightly underneath the tip of the nail, and then I tilt it up towards the nail, and I do the same at the cuticle area, and that seems to kind of really lighten up and intensify the cat eye. And then you can see I'm coming in with my little DIY paperclip magnet situation, and quickly getting it into the lamp. This finger might show the heart a little bit better. Let's see. Man, getting the first paperclip into the actual shape it needed to be, getting the angles right for doing the heart. I think I sat for 3 hours straight when I was first trying out this technique, so I really had to use it. There's a lot of time invested. So coming in again, we're really like making that cat eye nice and strong, get a nice and strong base before we're going to do the design. And you can see as I turn my finger, it is there. It's just not quite the right angle for the camera. But yeah, just tweaking slightly. And then I'm going to come in again with the little DIY heart tool, and it's so close to the nail, but you don't want to touch, obviously. And then you just really need to quickly get it into the lamp. And curing that. And now we're just going to go in and do some little stars, some little 4-pointed stars and some little dots, just to kind of make the nails, give them a little bit more depth. The cool thing about doing the magnetic kind of polishes is often you only need to do one coat, especially when you're going for a semi-transparent look like this. So even though there's a little bit more time and effort to do the design, we're only doing one coat, so that's pretty nice. I love doing these little stars. They are so effective, so easy, and they add a lot of kind of, for what they're worth, you know, like it takes only a few seconds per star, but people really love them. So they're kind of my go-to when we're not really sure what we want to do. And I start with placing the stars around, and then I'll do the little swipes out to create the little starburst kind of effect. And then I go back through and add dots like I'm doing right now to kind of fill in the space and kind of pull it all together. These little dots, again, they take 2 seconds, but they really make the nail one entire design, rather than just having like a random star or two on a nail placed funny. It brings it all together. So here we have the full set. I'm going in with top coat now, after curing the art. So this is, I'm pretty sure I used I have no idea what top coat I used, so I have 2. I'm sitting here looking at my nails. It's about 3 weeks later. Who knows? But the brush looks like I used the P+ top coat, which makes sense because the magnetic gel is a soak-off gel, and so we need to layer on soak-off top coat onto the soak-off gel. We can't put a hard gel top coat like Super Shiny over the top. So that's what I used. Definitely. I just noticed the kind of like the brush handle, it's rounded at the top. So it's definitely the P+ top coat. After curing in the lamp, before I wipe, I always go through and file underneath the nail like this. What this is doing is actually creating like a micro extension of my natural nail, and then the enhancement, which really helps avoid chipping and lifting at the free edge. And it also means that I'm waiting to cleanse my nails for enough time so that the product then becomes super shiny. So you can see here, now I'm going in with the cleansing. We need to let the gel cool down so that we can really achieve that super shiny surface, and I'm just cleaning away the dust as well that I created from filing underneath. And you can see the hearts kind of appearing and disappearing as I move my finger around as well, which is super fun. And you can see my nails are nice and straight again. That index finger does come slightly up. I overcorrect so that I can get more out of that extension than what I would get if I just did it straight. So right now I'm looking at my nail, it's 4 weeks grown out and it's starting to go down already. So if I did it straight, it would already be quite growing down and around my fingertip. I would have to resculpt maybe every time I did my nail. So by kind of overcorrecting slightly, I can get another kind of 4 weeks out of the extension. And just rubbing in that lovely cuticle oil now, spreading it all out. I think I go in, yes, and always buff the cuticle oil off the surface of the nail, particularly if you're going to go in and do photos or videos, so that there's no kind of blurs and we have a nice shiny surface for those close-up shots as well. And now here is the final design. You can see those hearts are quite strong, just by only doing one layer, and they're all different colors, and you can see as I move my finger they kind of grow, which is super fun. It's definitely something fun to kind of play with when you're just sitting waiting, or it might catch the light and so you just wiggle your fingers a little bit. And then here's another little shot. Let me know what you think about this look and also about this video format, whether you enjoyed the kind of real time but shorter, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.